Thank you, Senator Locke. Good evening. My name is Jamie Lockhart, and it is my pleasure to be with you tonight. And I just want to thank again all of our sponsors who made this event possible tonight and who make our work possible year in and year out. Tonight, I have the honor of presenting a special award to a public servant that has been a champion for our community for many years. Congressman Jim Moran is currently serving his 12th and final term as Congressman from the 8th Congressional District. Congressman Moran has consistently voted to protect and support women's rights and reproductive health care access. He has sponsored or championed pro-choice legislation, including efforts to repeal the bans on abortion coverage in the health plans of federal employees, military service women, and low-income residents of the District of Columbia, as well as legislation to support comprehensive sex education and to end funding for ineffective and medically inaccurate abstinence-only until marriage education programs. Congressman Moran has also been a vocal advocate on the House floor against attempts to restrict access to health coverage that includes abortion, and to point out the hypocrisy that is being anti-choice while against comprehensive sexual education and preventive care. It is my pleasure this evening to present the Steadfast Supporter Award to my congressman and the congressman from the 8th Congressional District, Congressman Jim Moran, for decades of strong pro-choice representation. Yeah.
Suggest I speak for a couple of minutes and tell a couple of anecdotes along the way, you know. Thank you very much, Jimmy and Tarina and Amy and George. Good to see you. Amy, thank you. We don't see so much of you up here, but thank you for all the work that you're doing. It's great to see all my good friends, elected officials, and leaders within the community on such an important issue. I really appreciate all that you do on behalf of empowering women to be able to control their own lives and their bodies. I was thinking about, you kind of reflect a little, decide 35 years of public elected office is going to conclude. Some of the highlights and lowlights dealt with this issue. First of all, when I first came down to Washington back in the 1970s, before the vast majority of you were born, maybe a couple of people were born, I was given the task to staff the Hyde Amendment, the original abortion amendment, because I was on the Senate Appropriations staff, and I was working for Senator Magnuson and Senator Ed Brooke, a Republican, an enlightened, progressive Republican, great guy. There weren't enough like him. So anyway, we fought, and eventually the House version prevailed. And it's always bothered me. So now we move up another almost 10 years, and I'm mayor of Alexandria. One of the first things we did, because we had such a high rate of teenage pregnancy, I wanted to establish a school-based health clinic that would provide contraceptive services. Now things were not like they are today. Mayor Bill Ewell has a more liberal community, perhaps because some of the stuff we did and frightened out the old bird Democrats to go south. But, and Charnel and Adam Evan, the people who represent Alexandria, and Laverne Chapman, who's working there, has been heading the Urban League. So Alexandria became quite a bit more progressive. But back in those days, we had 3 Republicans on the city council. Can you imagine it? This was a very controversial thing to do. And we established it at next to a junior high, which was really kitty corner to the high school, and it worked. And now, thanks to the progressive policies of many of the elected officials that I mentioned in the Alexandria City Council, the school board, we actually have it in the school. But a very controversial. Catholic Church came out in full force. Now, you know, I still consider myself a recovering Catholic, but boy, did they go after me. They put up these signs fortunately, they didn't put them in the church. They put them in the parish house, you know, where they all lived. And then they put flyers, and Sunday, they lift up the white windshield wipers and put the flyer in. Fortunately, they broke a lot of those windshield wipers and it backfired. But very controversial. But I remember one of the highlights. This group of pro-life folks came and protested my position. I lived on West Eula Terrace, you know, just off Russell Road. So this group of people come up and they walked right on our lawn, and they're holding up the signs and so on. Now, it was a hot summer's day. It was a Sunday afternoon. And my wife felt badly for the flowers that they were standing on. So she decided she'd give the flowers a little love and water them. And in the process, Sally, this is a true story, in the process, utterly soaked every protester. So they all went and complained to the police, of course, whined to the police. And the police, you know, they looked at the thing and they said, well, wait a minute, weren't you standing on his private property, his front yard? And you were standing on his flowers? The wife's trying to water the flowers. Actually, if he wants to register a complaint against you, I think that would be valid. So, you know, we won one for the home team. That was kind of a fun thing. We don't do it often, but we have been winning them in Richmond. And I want to thank all of the state senators and the state delegates and all of you who have gotten them elected. What a difference exercising your choice to vote who represents your values makes. And you're going to hear from Mark Herring now, and with Governor McAuliffe and the McAuliffe administration. We have a great team. They've got a lot to roll back. The McDonald administration did a lot of damage, but these are good folk who are going to represent your interests, and I trust we're going to do everything we can to keep them in office. At the federal level, boy, it's tough. I mean, the Ryan budget just eliminated family planning funding. Family planning provides not just contraceptive services, but cancer screenings and any number of other most basic healthcare services. They wiped it out. Now we'll try to restore some of it working with the Senate. But some of these most extreme amendments that we just thought were outrageous, now they become commonplace. So, you know, I trust that, and I can tell you, all of the candidates here, and there are I noticed there are a number of candidates for the 8th Congressional District here. All of them, without exception, are pro-choice. So we're going to be well represented in the 8th District, but the 8th District has to carry more than its proportionate weight, because I just saw you, many of you at John Faust's function. You're activists. Many of you are just such political activists. I got to tell you, that's a good thing. Be proud of that. You're making an enormous difference. Northern Virginia has to obviously lead this state. No offense, maybe, but you know we got to get the votes up here if we're going to get any progressive legislation through. And frankly, in many ways, leads the country. We're going to continue that as long as you stay involved. Be aggressive. Speak out for what you care about. Now, I don't know that the fact that somebody just leaned against the lights or they're seeing the signal. but I'll take it as a signal. So let me thank all of you very much. I'm very proud of this, and I'm proud to consider my kids. Thank you so much.